Hello everybody and welcome to day 2 of using the correct tense in your writing. So yesterday we talked a little bit about past tense. Typically when we use past tense, we add ed to the end of whatever verb or action we are describing in the sentence. So liked, camped, walked, they all end in ed. But we know sometimes that past tense verbs do not end in ed. So an example of that would be ate, ate. Yesterday I ate 2 apples for lunch. Or yesterday I found, F-O-U-N-D, found $5 on the ground. So verb tenses really help readers to understand when events are happening, if they're happening in the present, if they're happening in the past, or if they're happening in the future. So it's going to be important for, as a writer, like you all are, to use the same tense for all of the sentences in a paragraph. And you should only be changing tenses to show a change in time. So when you're using tenses, past, present, or future tense, you need to be consistent. So if we're using consistent tense to show the same time or the same event in a period of time, you need to keep it consistent or the same. So let's take a look at the example. Next week, school will close for summer vacation. I will visit the lake over the 4th of July weekend. So in this case, they're using the future tense. Something will happen. Usually when you use the future tense, you add the word will before the verb. So next week, school will close for summer vacation. It hasn't happened yet, but it will happen in the future. The second sentence is also talking about the future because it's talking about 4th of July weekend, which hasn't happened yet. So they said, I will visit the lake over the 4th of July weekend. So they kept that in the future tense because both of those events did not happen yet, but they would be happening in the future. Sometimes it's necessary to shift between tenses. So in this example, we will fish there. So it's something they will do, but they haven't done yet. I enjoyed swimming in the lake with friends. So they're referring to a time they've already enjoyed swimming in the lake with friends. So you'll see here in this sentence, they start with the future tense. Something will happen. In this case, they will fish. Hasn't happened yet, but it will happen eventually. And then they referred to a time where they enjoyed swimming in the lake with their friends. So you'll notice that the word enjoyed has that ed ending to tell us it's past tense. So they've already enjoyed swimming in the lake with their friends. Let's take a look at the next slide. So it says, read the paragraph and pick a verb tense that makes sense. Suggest ways to rewrite the paragraph using that tense. So this example is going to be more guided. Let's read the paragraph. I painted a picture of an American flag for my art class. My teacher helps me with the sketch. She framed my picture and places it in the art show. When I will visit the show with my family, I discovered a first place ribbon on my work. Wow. There's a lot of shifting tenses here that doesn't really make too much sense. I'm sure that sounded a little silly to you when I read it out loud. So let's rewrite this to make sense. To make a little bit more sense. And we'll use consistent tenses. So, I painted a picture of an American flag for my art class. So this already happened. I think we could keep this first sentence the same. I painted a picture of an American flag for my art class. You do not have to write this down. You're just kind of following along with me right now because this is more guided. My teacher helps me with the sketch. Well, we know that she already painted a picture of the American flag. So if she already did that, then that means her teacher already helped her with the sketch because the painting is already done. So we could change where it says helps me to say this. My teacher helped me with the sketch. We're keeping it past tense. So I'll kind of underline here. So painted, past tense. Helped is also past tense. Let's take a look at the next one. She framed my picture and places it in the art show. Well, that doesn't make sense. She framed my picture. I think we could keep that because it's already in the past tense. So we could keep that. She framed my picture, and if this is something that already happened, she doesn't places it. She already placed it. So we need to change places to placed it in the art show. When I will visit the show with my family, I discovered a first place ribbon on my work. So that last sentence is a mess. I had to pause for a second because it just did not make sense to me. So when I will visit, that refers to the future, but we know this is something that already happened. So we'll change when I will visit to when I visited the show with my family. Let's see, the next part says, I discovered a first place ribbon on my work. Well, discovered ends in ed, so that tells me it's already in the past tense. So we could keep that the same. I discovered a first place ribbon on my work. Oops. Made a little mistake. I'm going to go back and fix that right now. There we go. So now I'm going to read it again. But before I do that, I'm just going to underline all of our verbs here that we either changed or left the same. There we go. All right, let's read it to double check, make sure we're using consistent tenses. In this case, it was consistent past tense. I painted a picture of an American flag for my art class. My teacher helped me with the sketch. She framed my picture and placed it in the art show. When I visited the show with my family, I discovered a first place ribbon on my work. That makes so much more sense. Wow. So much more sense. In a minute, you are going to work on this page. I think it's slide 4 or slide 3 in your assignment. Let's see. Directions say, read the sentences and think about the relationship between the events. So that means you need to decide, are the events happening in the past, the present, or the future? They want you to underline the verb that is in the wrong tense. So underline the incorrect tense and then rewrite it to show the correct verb tense. So these are clicking, these underline, these little lines here, you click and drag them to the verb that is incorrect. And then in this space here, you retype that verb to show the correct tense. After you do that, You're going to work your way through the rest of this assignment. Try your best. Thanks for watching.